What we're looking for here is the least amount of exercise required. The logical place to start, even if you're skeptical, is with the least amount possible. The logical place to start is not with an arbitrary number like 20, but with the least amount possible. In other words, if one set doesn't work, you can't go any lower to find the least amount necessary. You can't do 0 sets and have a workout. If one set doesn't work, you could always go to 2. But I can save you the time and the headache. I've already worked it out. I've trained over 400 people, closer to 500 people now over the last 4.5 years. 1 set per exercise and never more than 2 sets per muscle is all that's needed. That's just the way it is. And if you're incredulous, you're skeptical, the reason for that is that you still have operative in your subconscious the childlike logic that more is better. And if more is really better, as they imply, then why not do 200 sets? Why stop at 20? Where did they ever get the number 20 anyway? It's literally arbitrary. Remember, science is an exacting discipline. There's no room for the arbitrary in science.
Hey, good Sunday evening, IconoCast family. What's going on? It's nice to be here. What's going on? Billy.
It's another beautiful day. Rather hot one, but it's a good one, man. I'm happy to be here. Surely the high point of my weekend.
Nice. Love to hear it, man. We got crazy smoke up here. The sun was blocked out. People couldn't breathe. It was wild. Forest fires everywhere. Crazy shit.
I've got a female client up there. She does like a lot of hair and makeup stuff. She already is around all this bullshit, breathing in it all the time. And she said that it's really been tearing her up. It's
crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. Anyways, I got my own breathing issues. My nose don't work properly, this and that, and fucking holy smokes, I've been struggling. But whatever, it's what it is.
Punches to the face.
Yeah, my nose. She not so good. A little deviate the septum. Yeah, a little too much ice hockey, fisticuffs, and extracurricular stupidities.
That other ice hockey, and then shake and bake.
Not me, bro. I'm a good boy.
We're too close to Mexico. All I had in my youth was cocaine. We didn't have speed down here.
Yeah,
now it's popping, but they didn't have speed back then.
No, dude. Yeah, it's crazy. That's what they got up here, man. Speed. That you get all these fucking speed freaks out in the streets up here, man. It's crazy. They take all this speed all day, $5 a pop, super cheap, and they use it to get their hustle on, so they can get their heroin at night. Speed all day, heroin all night.
It's motivation for the sleep drugs.
Yeah, bro. Uppers and downers.
Jeez, man.
Crazy motherfuckers. But yeah,
everywhere now,
yeah, dude.
Epidemic.
Yeah. We got smoke.
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
To do with getting jacked.
This is the intro. It does, because HIT would save all these people, or their meth addiction would help them train to failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everybody says Daddy Mike was on the pipe, but it's not true.
Yeah. And when amphetamines become methamphetamines,
It's not the same, silly people. It's not the same.
You silly billies, you goobers.
Yeah, you goats, you silly goats, you silly
geese. It goes back to our previous, our previous discussion from the last show. It's these tactics they use to discredit people. So, just character assassination. Yeah.
We're going to tell the true story of Daddy Mike. Eventually, it's going to be one of our shows. We're going to put him in for people. It really is, bro.
It's it's what can happen to a person, if bitterness fully envelops your subconscious,
Yeah,
fully
yeah,
takes
yeah,
over,
yeah.
not
And then
having the right direction or the right reasons to be
yeah,
doing what you should be.
yeah, and it's a lot of libertarians that lack the right frames are going to suffer from
For
these
sure.
things. So he wasn't a perfect man, and the Ayn Rand got her hooks deep in a lot of people, bro. But I think to me, he overcame, and were he to have stuck around, he would have been straight on that pipeline. But we don't need to talk about where that pipeline ends up.
Oh, you end up there. You will definitely end up there. If you're
You
interested in
know,
the truth and you are skeptical of the powers that be,
yeah,
yeah, you'll get there eventually.
it's just how it is, man. So, aside from that, how's your week, bro?
Man, oh, dude, fuck, I stepped on the scale this morning and I was like, ooh, I'm downsizing pretty hard. I just had a real busy week at work. It's my first couple weeks back since the arm injury. So returning to work, got a bunch of stuff backed up because I wasn't there, and I had the opportunity to make some overtime hours. So I've been staying late and then staying super busy. Haven't really been eating like I normally would. So yeah, just gonna happen. And then when you're coming off of a show, you know what I'm saying? Like if you don't swell up with 30 pounds of water because you're an idiot and you ate stupid, you know, it's time to slow down. And there are some things that come out of your body that you had been putting in, So
Yeah,
remove those things and, return it back to normalcy and kind of taking a break from the lifestyle per se, the structure of it.
yep,
So, but training has still been immaculate. I've been crushing, fucking getting crazy strong again. Not being dieted. It's awesome. But
hell yeah,
it embrace, like I'm going through it in my head, and it's like, well, now's the time, that I can chill out. I don't need to live like that. I don't need to be neurotic about that shit right now. It's time to decompress. Hey, if I need to work harder, make some extra money, fuck those other meals, man. We gotta build shit back up here. So it's cool. I like it because it allows me to take a step back and look at everything from a different perspective.
yeah. You get to start your off season, man, and just get your brain fresh and all that. It's good, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even gonna start the off season until a few months down the road. Now it's just off season. Yeah. Is what it is, babe. It's the game I'll play.
Yep,
I ain't
yeah,
gonna handicap myself.
yeah.
You think them other boys ain't having an off season,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah, but it was
Well,
good, man. It was good, and I've actually been enjoying it at work, like that kind of hustle mentality. Normally, I
good.
would be like begrudged, especially when I'm dying and tired and hungry all the time and shit. It's like, all right, I just want to fucking get home. I got other shit to do. But now, fucking, I want to get to this point on the job before I leave today.
Yeah,
Just
you're
gotta
back
enjoy
to.
that.
Yeah, you're back. You're back to. You're relaxed, buddy. You got less on your plate. Sounds good, man. It sounds like you're handling it well. What was the name of the bodybuilder? Kevin, the dude that used to just
LeBron.
like, yeah,
Kevin
Kevin
Levrone, I know what
LeBron.
you're talking. I know what you're about to say. Yeah,
Yeah,
train half the
talk
year.
about talk about off seasons, man. You ever seen that guy in his off season, bro? He just got little, bro, little like crazy.
Yeah, he looked like a normal ass dude.
Yeah, it's really
It's like
freaky.
somebody did the math on it and like was saying that it was like mathematically impossible for him to grow that much because of like the body weight and the calories he consumed. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Like they had his diet and they added up the amount of calories he was eating and then the amount of muscle mass he put on.
yeah. I got a theory about the sort of light skinned brothers and like their ability to swell up.
It's
Like
interesting.
teeth and stuff like that. Seems like they got a little bit of a different setup genetically, where they're able to get that like sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. They get more water in the cell faster from volume. Seems like it. And so I don't think that that's not a thing, but I think those are serious outliers. And I don't think there's any proof of what I just said. It's really just a theory. So
I mean, there's one thing we got to do is we got to get a 2,000 person mulatto control group.
right. Yeah, good luck. Good luck getting that funded.
We can get funded for that.
Maybe. Yeah.
Diversity, baby.
Yeah, it was. Got to get. It's a good job for Mike Israetel over at Temple University. I'm sure he's got all kinds of dudes like that around in Philly. You know, he can find a whole cohort, no problem.
Temple, huh?
Yeah. That's where he's at, Temple University. I'm not sure that's not a what do they call it? HB, historically black university. I think Temple is. I can't remember.
Is that right?
Maybe I'm wrong. Could be wrong, but seems to me. And there's a couple around Philly, anyways, one or two at least. But anyways, moving right along, buddy. We're supposed to have a guest tonight. Did we track him down?
Man, last I heard from him, he was trying to make the switch over from, streaming on his cell to his laptop, and
he don't got to do that, man. If it has to be cell, it can be cell.
You haven't heard from him in 10 minutes, so kind of
we'll
a bummer.
We'll find him, man.
We didn't have any homework.
We got some cool stuff happened this week. We got one of our first shows kind of chopped up and clipped up so that we're going to be dropping some shorts. I think they're actually all up on the YouTube channel. They're not shorts. They're like clips, like 5, 6, 7 minute clips. We got producer, he was kind enough to chop up all of the paths when we did the paths of all the
Dude, yeah, I didn't click on the video because I thought it was just like a repost of the episode, and I was like, that was a good episode. I remembered that one. That was fucking fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
A fun one.
It was. So we got nine different like 3, 4, 5, 6 minute clips doing each path separate. So you guys can have fun checking those out. If you just want to share them with your friends, give them a little taste of what we do at the IconoCast. We have a good time. We pose like Z's, you know what I mean? I'm on the wrong side, so I can't do my Z's pose properly. Where is it on this side?
I don't even know how he posed, man. Cause I
can't hold my phone and do it at the same time, Yeah, he just sat back on that one leg and looked up at his hand all weird and tripped it through the bicep up. Yeah,
he was having MDMA visuals. He was watching his hand vibrate and pulsate.
That's it. Yeah, man. So, Scooby, we got Z's, we got Rich Piana, we got Mark Ripito, we got a number of these good dudes that we had a little funny chats about. So that's cool. It's fun stuff. You guys can go check that out for sure. And there's going to be more of that to come. We're going to chop up all the episodes. We're going to put a bunch of shorts out, try and hype ourselves up a little bit and give everybody a taste of the wholesome goodness that is the IconoCast, ladies and gentlemen.
Spread the seed, man. Got to spread the seed. See what ground it takes hold in.
Yes, bro. We're coming up. We're coming up out the mud, brother. You know what I'm saying? Trenches. We're in the trenches right now. Soon we're going to be in the penthouse.
In the penthouse, in the suite. Floor 66. Donald Trump Tower.
Yeah. Right next to West.
Freemason shit.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Right next to Wes Watson in Miami, on that penthouse floor.
Wes Watson, huh?
Wes Watson. He's another good one. I like Wes. Shout out to Wes Watson. He just yelled at me. Yeah, he just be screaming at me, be like, why are you such a pussy? Why are you a bitch? I'd be like, fuck Wes. I don't know, bro. I'm trying, but
if David Goggins did it to you.
No, I'd be like, fuck you, Goggins. Let's fight. Wes, I'd just be like, I'm sorry, Wes. I'll try harder.
That is a weird dude, man.
Goggins, I would like to see Wes and Goggins fight, actually. I'd like to see Goggins try and motivate Wes Watson and see what would happen.
That was really interesting because, the persona and the pedestal people put him on. And, I'm not saying he's not a crazy, badass motherfucker or whatever, but, in the chat, homie was like, yeah, the dude he wasn't even a Navy SEAL. He didn't even actually graduate, I'm like, oh. And he's like, I read his books. It's kind of,
yeah. Oh. He's just a diversity recruiter, bro. He's trying to mess up the army. That's what they got him out there for. He's trying to appeal to the people, the type of people that they want in there, whoever that might be, because the regular army recruitment wasn't working good enough, wasn't attracting enough good good people in the past. Now we need different types of people. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't care. You all can do whatever you want over there. But Goggins, I don't know, bro. How are you getting out there? Like, how are you? I don't know. What was the recent thing I saw about him? He did 800-mile marathons, 8 weekends in a row.
No, Bucket. I'm seeing the chats. Yeah, Goggins, he didn't graduate to a SEAL. That's what I was told.
Yeah, nobody likes him, bro. They don't like him in the military, bro.
He did all the training and stuff, and he's got cool stories from it. But I don't know. I don't think he actually did anything because he's not. He never talks about being a vet. You never hear of him being a veteran.
No, he never got deployed. He never got deployed. Yeah. He never went out. Never was in the shit. But he's gonna carry the boats though. Who's gonna carry the boats? They don't know me, son. They don't know. That's right, bro. They don't know you. All the vets, they don't know you, bro. They didn't serve with you, bro. You didn't make it. So, shut up.
The whole selling point was the first Black Navy SEAL or whatever. Yeah, man. Look, I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google it right here live.
Yeah, do it, man. I don't know. I think there was definitely been Black Navy SEALs. Like, I don't think he's the first Black Navy SEAL.
Yeah, bro. There was one in Predator.
Yeah. Apollo.
In the movie Predator.
Apollo Creed was the first Black Navy SEAL. What are you guys talking about? Did you know he played in the CFL, man? That dude, the guy that played Apollo Creed, played up here football, pro football in the Canadian Football League.
That's a fun fact that I was completely and totally unaware of.
Yeah, interesting enough. He was good friends with Warren Moon. Warren Moon, who started his career up in Canada.
So what does chat think about my new camera and microphone setup? Am I a tad bit more professional?
Let's hear it, chat. What do you guys think of Billy?
Do I sound more pro?
I'm still low level. I'm still bouncing around and fumbling my camera and standing too bad for you guys. Deal with it.
Now I can play with my phone on stream.
We got the beautiful artwork behind me. We are the new standard over here, so that's what that means.
David Goggins, American ultramarathon runner, just a cyclist, blah blah blah, speaker, and author. He is a retired United States SEAL member who served in the Iraq War. His first memoir, Can't Hurt Me, was released as
well, so we're sitting here defaming him, lying. Sorry, Goggins.
Yeah. So, hey, bro. Paul in chat. You're getting muted for a week. You just made an ass of yourself. I trusted you, bro. You were supposed to be my top guy.
He carried the boats. He did carry the boats. They do know him, son.
It says he was on SEAL Team 5 from 2001 to 2004.
All right.
Bro, said he didn't even graduate, bro. I said that on live air.
Man, rolling it back, bro.
Dude. Fuck.
IconoCast letting you guys down.
Jeez.
Whatever.
I already caught so much shit for making fun of Bromley.
Oh God, you can't do that.
Oh man,
we can't do that. He's a professional. He's a top 5 world finisher strongman. We can't do that.
Yeah, the 105 kilogram class.
Yeah,
bro.
Anyways,
okay,
then keep training.
kgs. What's that, like 230 pounds?
Yeah, keep training, please. Then
and you were fat.
Yeah, stay jacked. Stay jacked, please. Probably
230 pounds. So Bromley, I think I probably got as much or more muscle tissue than you, bro.
Easily.
It's cool.
Yeah,
strictly strength related. Yeah, sure. But
well, man, start training for strongman and see how long it takes you.
I am interested in taking up a strength sport when I retire from bodybuilding.
Yeah.
It's funny enough, most bodybuilders who do convert do very, very, very well.
Well, if you're good, if you're athletic, first of all, some bodybuilders aren't that athletic, but most of the guys that get up there, they got good genetics, which translates to good athleticism. And so you already have nice patterning. You know how to work hard. You know how to push weight and shit. And you can move your feet. You know what I mean? Because that's the new thing is guys like Mitch Hooper are super quick, right? And a lot of those guys are the guys that won anyways. Some of the smaller guys did better, because they were faster. So Um, you know, I see it translating really well, dude. There's a lot of really good athletes, man, out there. What's his name? What's the dude? Bradley. He's not a bodybuilder, but he's like a YouTube guy. Brad. Is that his name?
Martin?
Brad Martin. Yeah, he's a really good athlete.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys that are quite impressive athletes, man, that are just
All I
big
ever see him is
fucking dudes.
like bench pressing 120-pound females.
Yeah, we should do a Bradley Martin path, because that's a
Path to
path.
Brad Martin.
Yeah, that's a path to some females.
Right.
Yeah.
Just be on TRT and be like 260 pounds,
Yeah.
drowning in puss.
Yeah,
Path
yeah.
to Brad Martin.
making that normie YouTube cash.
Yeah, totally normie
Yeah.
content.
Yeah, that's what
Bro,
we're
it's
going
so
for.
funny watching shit like when gear comes up, he acts like he knows nothing about it.
Yeah.
So, I just did some tests. Like, bro, really?
Yeah,
Stop
he knows.
it.
He knows. But yeah, so it's been an interesting week. What's gone on? Has there been any bodybuilding stuff going on this week? Is there more shows happening, or is the season over?
No. There's stuff going on
There
all
is it.
the time. I know over the last month it was like the Toronto Pro Show, and then they had a
Toronto,
Spain
yeah.
show. But honestly, man, I haven't really been keeping up with it. I just, with the injury and getting back to work and like trying to revitalize my home life and everything else, it's just been intense, man.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been following it. Frankly, I'm kind of uninterested in some of it. But,
Yeah, well, you're very close to it, man. Like I should be paying more attention too, but I'm busy and shit. So, it would make for some decent content if I was paying attention. We thought we were having this guest, so we came a little ill prepared to kind of kill time, So,
I was
but
stoked because he said that he was in the lobby. I sent him the link, like, at 8:30 or something. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in the lobby," and
oh shit, that was 2 hours ago.
yeah, he's like, he's gone.
My dude's
Yeah,
just
that would
sick.
have been a really good talk. Little background story in case he shows up. So this is a fellow I met at a NPC seminar, which I was invited to go to. We had an in-house training, so there's like all the guys who showed up. We all trained together in the same gym with the judges and stuff. And it was at one of the best gyms here in Louisiana, Reds and Lafayette. So I go there and I do my thing. I'm training, and I see these two pretty yoked up dudes. I recognize one of them is Jacob Robichaux. He's a classic physique pro. Turned pro last year in 2 shows. Dude has phenomenal genes.
Good for
Big
him.
as a house. I mean, can classic guys really be big though? Because they got a weight cap. But no, I'm not gonna talk shit. But no, they do look really good. Anyways, there's a guy sitting next to him who's yoked up too. So it was kind of like we were the 3 people. Like I see you, you see me, I see you, you see me. Like we were the 3 big dudes in the house.
Yeah.
And we started chatting and trained. And a few weeks later, I do the Miss Louisiana show, and he's backstage with Jacob, who's the guest poser. And he comes and talks to me, and he's like, "Man, I looked at your Instagram or whatever, and man, tell me about what you do training." So I started giving him the seminar. It was like the consultation call, but in person.
Yeah.
And he is eating it up. It's busted his chops. He's like, because he's open. He's open to the thought process.
Took the key.
Yeah, he grabbed the key. It fit right in, man, and he's digesting it. So he had to go help Jake. He's like, "Oh man, well I gotta go. I'm gonna get back to you." So weeks go by. I'm in Texas. I'm holed up in the Airbnb, waiting to do the Kuklo show, and I get a message. "Hey man, I really like to finish our conversation. That we were having. What do you charge for the call?" And I was like, "Well, man, I already gave you half of the seminar, man. I'll just give me X." And he's like, No. I'm gonna pay you for the whole thing. All right. So we got on the phone, man. I laid it all out for him and showed him how to perform the experiment. You know, like how to test it, how to run it, you know, week by week. And I was like, don't take my like exact recommendations on the variables. You do what you want, but you know what you have to reduce or what you have to change logically. So run it like that. And that's what he did. He started off high and he started chopping away. And in, I think it's been like 5 or 6 weeks, he sent me a picture a few days ago. His words were, bro, I transformed into an entirely different fucking human. And it's big and full, just, it's crazy.
Ooh,
I really wanted to get him on to talk about it, you know, to talk about his mindset before, how the conversation, you know, stimulated him, and then his application of it and the results it produced.
Yeah.
It's substantial. He's not going to be a classic physique competitor for much longer because Jake did classic too, as well as Jacob, and I don't.
Yeah, he'll outgrow it.
That picture I saw, I don't think he's making a weight cut.
Yeah, he'll outgrow it, man. It's crazy to see guys who trained volume in the past for a very long time, right? And what the intensity does to change their physique, right? And the speed that it increases their growth at compared to the rates they were growing at before. That's what Mike talked about, right? In the most recent seminar that I listened to, you know, he was talking about, you know, plateaus, right? He's saying when you switch, you need to take your rest, take 2-3 weeks off, right? When you switch, and then let your body rest, let yourself recover from all the cumulative systemic fatigue, jump on a proper HIIT program, and then watch what happens. Right? You guys start to blow up, their numbers go crazy. You know, I couldn't believe it. Did you listen to that seminar, the 1998 seminar that he had, that was posted in one of our chats recently? I don't know if you listened to it, but so what he was talking about was he ended the seminar by giving his program that he recommends. I'm swearing now, it blew my mind, man. Like, what he said was his beginner program was 1 training session every 7 days. First workout, 1 top set of squats, 1 top set of close grip pull down. That's it. Then take a full week off, 7 days rest, 1 top set of deadlifts, 1 top set of dips. See you later. And that's it. That's the program. It's the whole program. Like, you know,
it's funny because, like, as a person fully immersed in the theory, I would never prescribe that. Yeah, I just wouldn't. I would make you figure out that that's what would be needed. You know what I mean? Like, you would work yourself down to that point. I would never start somebody off.
Yeah.
But back to the transitioning, and there's something I wanted to add to that. You're talking about athletes that transition from higher volume training to high intensity training. What the guys who make the crazy, who get these awesome results so quickly, what I find is that if they were doing too much volume with high intensity, because the kind of people that will thrive on HIIT understand like what it feels like to train hard. But when they're training high volume, they're just training it too much. It's too much. And that's why the presentation and what I'm teaching them appeals to them so much, because it clicks in their head that they are fighting, they're fighting an uphill battle constantly. They've been doing it for a long ass time. They know how to train hard. They know how to really dig in and dig in and dig in. And they do that, but they understand also that they're having these junk sets, or they're just doing too many movements that are overlapping. And it just, the chronic overtraining.
Yep.
That's what I noticed from, especially, the clients and the people I've talked to. It's most definitely the case. They can train hard. They just need to understand when to put it down, when to stop, when to
Yeah, so they
have
get a
some
huge
control
reduction
of
in
it.
volume. Huge reduction in volume. They get rest. Their overtraining goes away, right? And they actually get the benefit from each of their top sets. All they do is grow. They stop fighting to recover, to be rested. The fatigue goes down. The systemic stress goes down, and then it's just all that's left is your results, right? Which, like, so people who do that shift, and it starts to click, right? They understand, oh shit, I've been doing too much work. Now take a
Yeah,
beginner and do that to them, right? That's how people get in and out of the gym. That's how people end up hurt, end up not getting any traction, right? Because
yeah,
they don't have that predisposition. They're not able to string it together. Sometimes the trainer can keep them on it, but then they become addicted to the trainer, you know, and once they stop, they can't stay in. So it really does harm the normie as much as it harms the athlete, you know, in the same way, right?
I have a client that I picked up last week or week before, and in the first week, with the new diet, he had some GI stuff that I had to fix. So I got him on the program, got his bowels moving right, and he at first he was skeptical on whether he was going to follow my training. He's like, "Oh no, I just want you to do my diet and this and that." And I was like, "No, I want everything. Like, if you hire me, you're gonna do what I say. You're gonna train how I'm teaching you. It's the right way."
Yeah.
He was in my kitchen. He wanted to talk to me in person, so I told
Oh
him
yeah.
to come over to the house. Well, when I got his gut fixed and all that was feeling better, and then he's like, "Oh well, are you gonna do my training now?" "Yeah, I'm gonna do it now." "Yeah, I'll do it." So get him on that, and then the first week, he's reporting how much fuller he looks, and how much fresher he looks, and how much better he feels in a week. You know, Cutting it down from ugh,
Yeah.
ridiculous amounts to something feasible. It's crazy. And I
Yeah.
got
So
those
yeah.
comments too when I was prepping for the show. People would comment like older heads would be like, "Yeah, man, your muscle looks healthy, man. You look fresh. You got a
Yeah.
healthy look. A healthy look." It's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah,
Yeah.
man, I'm
Don't look
not."
run down. You're not tired. Don't
Yeah,
got those that look. That drawn
yeah.
kind of emaciated kind of look
Right. My
around the
face was
side.
just sunk in. I was definitely. You could tell I was dieting. I was shredded. My
Yeah.
face was
Yeah.
sucked in, but it's not. Yeah, it's different. It's
Yeah,
not a like
it could be neck up, but that's just because your body fat percentage, right? But then
right, right.
you got energy, and like you're saying, neck down. It's like you look fresh. It's a different look. So yeah, man. Well, it's gonna keep growing. It's gonna keep connecting with people because it's just that wave. There's too many people having too much success doing it. So it's nice to be on it. It's nice to be on the edge of that crest and having it go that way.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah,
For
yeah.
sure, man. Maybe
Any
it's
word
good
from
to
any word from our friend?
man, I don't think it's happening. I think
Oh,
he's I think he might have got frustrated with it and just bailed out or something. I don't know what happened.
so how many people, producer? How many people we got watching? Who's in the chat? What's going on?
There's only
Uh,
like a couple in here.
Oh, brutal! You guys are
brutal.
brutal. You guys are killing us. So let me just go
A
and
lot of
sneak around.
people, as soon as I post a link, they're like, "Oh yeah, I got stuff going on tonight, but I'm gonna rewatch. I'm gonna
Yeah,
rewatch it with such and such." I
yeah.
get a lot of
Replays are
those.
getting
So
a lot of airtime, but we're on at a tough time for a lot of people. It's late on Sunday night.
yeah,
I'm just
it's
gonna jump
Mincer's
in
top
chat.
guy. That's a
Eh?
that's a cool dude. That's a cool dude right there.
That's just Tom guy. All right. Oh, there he
He's
is.
gonna
There we
he's
go.
gonna help us. He's gonna help us chop up some content too.
Very nice. I love to
Since
hear
he
it, man.
wants to make memes, that'll be fun.
Let's go. Let's go. Give me a moment here, lads. We're gonna go drum up some interaction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. So it's just me now. Well, that's what you're here to do, is to listen. But you can feel free to interact. So since we don't have our guest didn't show up, if you want to ask the panel a question or you have some kind of insight, just let us know, man. We will address whatever it is that you need. There's a wealth of knowledge here between Ben and myself. God, I sound prideful when I say shit like that. I don't even like to talk like that. Kind of stuck. I'm so unprepared for this. Yeah, me too. We were definitely unprepared tonight. We thought we had a guest. Normally we got something fun we can just hammer on and have a blast, but we didn't even pull that together. So it's kind of stale right now. I could talk shit on Bromley for an hour. Make my
that's
friend
something.
Renee
If
really pissed off.
if you guys can't find something else, we can always just put on the second part.
Oh yeah, let's do Bromley. Let's get back to our
Yeah,
friend.
put on part two. I'm going to make Renee even more pissed off.
Yeah.
And frankly, Renee, I know you're listening to this, but it's the audacity of the man to make these huge blanket statements. He wants to produce a manifesto where he proceeds to claim that HIIT training is, inferior. And then his initial statement is, it's a cult. It's a religion. There's all these denominations. There's this, there's that. Okay, what point of the theory are you debunking? What about it isn't true? What about it is not, right? What makes volume better than the actual theory of HIIT training?
Yeah, he didn't say any of that. He said, I don't like it if you say it's the only way to train.
Yeah, if you say
And
it's
then
the
he
only way
went
to
on.
train.
Yeah, and then he went on to make all his arguments actually supported all of our positions. He's just a silly, angry guy. So don't blame me, Renee. Okay, guys get mad. I had another argument with another dude who said, "Oh, don't talk shit about Bromley. It's not nice." And I don't give a fuck.
That
I
was
don't
his
care.
thing, too. We weren't
You know
being
what I'm saying?
nice about it. We called him fat. We said he played tummy sticks.
Yeah,
He's
well,
just
the guy.
poor man. He's not trying to look this way. It's like, you know what? We don't really care. We're making fun of him because he was being an ass. So we're being asses,
Yeah, it's called A-logging, guys. Okay, yeah, welcome to the internet. Okay, maybe it's your first time. And
Yeah,
you're the
we're
guy
gonna
that's.
have Renee on the show to express his distastes for our actions, and we're gonna give him some more ammunition here when we start this one up. But
Yeah,
it was
he's gonna
funny.
get rid of that. He's gonna
I
want that.
commented on his. He had a really awesome transformation from year to year, start of a prep to another start of a prep, and gained a lot of tissue. And he does train with a lot of high intensity training principles. He has a lot of one set per movement stuff going on, but he does program more movements than I would. He has these mesocycles where he deloads, and he has a lot of heavy nervous system fatigue movements in his program. So, anyhow, he says to me, yeah, well, those arms didn't have one single HIT set done to them. And I said, well, that's okay, Renee. Not everyone's capable of training hard. And if it takes you 8 to 20 sets to get some effective reps in, then that's just what you got to do. And he's like, touche, motherfucker, touche. And that's the whole debate, right?
It is.
Isn't that the whole debate? I
It
mean,
is.
at one point, you got to get some effective reps in. And
Yep.
it's those effective reps that are going to cause you to grow.
Yeah. So what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for in your workout? You have all the time in the world. You got nothing else better to do, right? You can't just fucking zipper up, right? And get after it right away.
Get them.
Go get it. Let's go. Don't waste time. Don't waste your energy. Don't waste your calories. You pay a lot of money for your food, boys. Right? So why are you trying to harm your recovery? Why are you trying to harm your
question
sleep?
Right here. I don't want it to disappear. Says,
Yeah,
is there ever a point while doing HIIT that you should do distance running, or should you always just stick with sprinting while on the program?
Oh, good question.
It's a good question. I'll just give my little insight first. So I think HIIT stays in its own lane, right? What we're doing in the gym is to acquire more strength and more muscle mass. That's our specific job in the gym. So whatever it is you're doing outside of the gym, you just want to be mindful that it's not counterintuitive to your gym time. Otherwise, you're just wasting some time. Marathon running, like shit, long distance running. I mean, I think that's your choice. I think that sprinting is another high intensity exercise. You know, sprinting obviously is maximum effort. You're sprinting as fast as you possibly can. And that's going to put more of a drain on your recovery, I think, you know, for certain. Now, it depends on the distances we're talking long, but I don't foresee a guy, you know, running 20 or 30 miles. Gosh, whatever. Do what you want. That's what I think.
Yeah,
it
that's how I was about to say.
Counteract. The theory is set up to where if you understand it, you are going to have the checks and balances to make the gym time work regardless of what you're doing outside the gym. It's self-correcting.
That's it.
It's a set of principles.
So maybe, you know, if you're putting mileage out on the road and you're running or you're biking, maybe, you know, you're training less, right? Maybe you're training on Saturdays only. Maybe you're training muscle groups instead of each muscle group every 10 days. You're going to each muscle group every 20 days because you're slowing down your recovery by putting mileage on the road or sprinting or jujitsu or boxing or all of the above, whatever you need. If you want to be a well-rounded athlete, you got to figure out how to maximize your muscle mass, increase the cross-sectional surface area of your muscles to increase the ability to apply force, right? It's going to make you better at all the other stuff you're trying to do, right? So if you're trying to be athletic, then choose your athletic endeavors wisely, do the things you want to learn, and then adjust your training accordingly. There's no reason why you can't keep progressing, right? There's no reason why. Your log's going to tell you everything you need to know, right? About if you're recovering or not. There's every single time, right? Regardless. So just be diligent, apply your logs, enjoy your week, go to your classes, go to jujitsu, go run, do whatever you want. Show up on Saturday morning, annihilate it. Do the same the next week on your 2 days. You got 2 workouts, 2 splits, no big deal. 2-day split, right? And see how much you go.
He says right here, I'm just thinking of a 20 or 30 minute run. You're just talking about cardio, dude. And cardio shouldn't be really impactful of anything. But again, your training logs will dictate everything. Yeah. So you're either progressing every workout or you're not. And if you're not, then you got to change one of the variables. And the one variable you don't change is intensity. So that leaves 2 others. It's simple as that. Reduce until you start to progress again.
If you're running a 5K, dude, that shouldn't hurt a thing. You should be able to recover from that in 24, 72 hours. It might add a day onto your recovery. You know what I mean? No big deal. And definitely you want to be able to do that in under 25 minutes. That's always been a benchmark of fitness to me. You know, and so, you know, try to get there. Maybe under 20 minutes is real nice. That's a really nice, you're fit, you know, your cardio is good. You have to run fast for 20 minutes. That's a nice little benchmark, you know? And so, if you're growing and if you're over 200 pounds and you can do that, and you can also keep growing on HIIT, you're doing a great job. You're going to be well-rounded. You're going to be able to do whatever other things that you want to do. You know, when STHFs, you know, when the STHF happens, then, you know, you're not going to have to stress about your strength and your fitness levels out there in the mix. You know what I'm saying? If that's what we're if that's what we're training for, right? What are guys training for? They're training to carry the boats, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, if you're a normie, that's not going to happen overseas, bro. It's going to happen when the STHFs. So. Or SHTF? Yeah, SHTF, my bad.
It makes me think of all the memes about the hotel room shooter guy. There's always training to carry up fucking 600 pounds of equipment up 40 flights of stairs.
Yeah, we're just memeing, feds. Relax. We're just memeing, you silly feds.
Yeah, I'm really just quoting a meme that I think is hilarious.
Yeah. Which it is. That's one of the best memes. It is hilarious. Yeah.
Funny.
Oh, so we got Bromley up here, and he's looks like he's soying out already.
Effective reps, training to failure, exhausting a muscle is not the only thing that causes muscle growth. It's not even the most important one. It's actually the one that gives you the least amount of wiggle room to make changes when the training stops getting effective. Now, I haven't seen this level.
What that, man? He's going to elaborate on this, but holy smoke.
Run it back. We're going to hit the first part. of that small segment, and then we'll hit the second.
Yeah, so Renee, please understand, bro. This what he just said is why he's getting A-logged. It's why we're calling him fat and stuff, because he's mad. Understand? Listen to what he said. He's mad because you can't say what we just said, what we say. You're not allowed to say what he said, we say. You understand? And we can't say it. And you're going to find out why in a second. Let's hit it.
The training stops getting effective. Now, I haven't seen this level of culty shit since I put out the I Hate Westside video. I did take that down for a couple of reasons. I think I had said a couple things in it that weren't specifically correct, and it wasn't my best work. Like the quality wasn't good. I wasn't happy with it. I had meant to revisit it, but after Lou passed, it wasn't urgent. It seemed like in bad taste, so I just never got around to it. But that comment section was an absolute shit show. I was just inundated with like the bearded 400-pound neck tattooed septum piercing triple ply open back bench shirt wearing hillbillies that were just going to bat Louis Simmons, and a bunch of kids that weren't very strong or accomplished that wanted to emulate the 400-pound hillbilly. I don't know that this comment section got to that level, but it got pretty damn close. Now here's the thing: when it comes to systems of belief, people are desperate to show that what they believe, the thing that they globbed onto, is just as good, just as valid, if not more so than everybody else. So you see a lot of othering. You see a lot of us versus them. Now you get guys like Jay Vincent, and they're salesmen. Salesmen do what they do. They embellish the thing that they're selling. And in a field like this, where it's really hard to break through because the shit that works has been around for like 70 years, it's not sexy. It doesn't make you stand out to just put out basically good knowledge.
It's like we want to talk about what works, right? The shit that works. If we go back to the beginning, which is where I really wanted to restart on that intro statement that he made about.
Yeah, keep this timestamp. This is 128. Sorry, that was 128 in. Let's just roll back to the beginning and come back to where you just stopped.
Effective reps, training to failure, exhausting a muscle is not the only thing that causes muscle growth. It's not even the most important one. It's actually the one that gives you the least.
What else causes a muscle to grow, Ben?
Oh.
What else stimulates adaptation?
Trend. Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know what the answer to that is.
I don't fucking know the answer to that either.
Call me. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe he's going to teach us something here that we didn't know of, Billy. Right? There's some other way.
You can grow muscle without training to total failure. Tons of people have done it. But what is the factor within that training that is going to get a person a stimulation?
Effective reps. So we're going to
reps. That's what we're left with. Because what if I did, 100 sets of one at 50%, of my max capacity or whatever? Like, what the fuck is that going to do? Maybe when I get to set 75, or set 84 or whatever. But then again, the reps are going to start becoming effective. They're going to start tiring the muscle.
Yeah. West side.
What is this about? What is he really saying here?
Yeah, I don't know. Conjugate loads you heavy enough so that you perform effective reps. There's involuntary slowing of the implement, right? The guys are big and strong, right? So what did they do to get big and strong? They performed effective reps. They might have stopped before absolute failure, but if they're training at the percentages that Westside recommends, in the volume that Conjugate recommends, right? You're still performing, like you're at the edge of failure. You're maybe a rep away every set. So maybe you perform 2, 3, 4 sets, whatever they got going in there, right? But so now you've got 20 reps at a high enough percentage that most of those are full out balls to the wall reps, where you're not doing a 6th one or a 7th one or whatever it is. Maybe you even have AMRAP sets in there, to my recollection. So, it's like, what are you really talking about, dude? And then, anyways, I'll talk about what he said about West Side guys after. But are those the guys you really want to talk smack about, bro? Like, jeez. Anyways, moving along.
Yeah. Well, yes. Right after this, he's saying that. Go ahead, play it.
amount of wiggle room to make changes when the training stops getting effective. Now, I haven't seen this level.
What the fuck? Where would you wiggle away from effective reps? And how would you get a stimulus if you're going to reduce from effective reps?
It's insanely flawed logic. So he's assuming he's coming with the presumption that you're going to plateau, right? And that you're going to need a deload, right? And
Well,
so
yeah, that's the only thing I could figure that he's actually saying is that when he's going to tweak this to get his stimulus, he's just going to lower the amount of effective reps he's getting so that his systemic fatigue lowers, so that then he can re-enter training with effective reps and receive stimulation and actually be able to recover and adapt from them.
dude.
So the deload is the thing that is pre-programmed into his system because it is the only natural or logical conclusion to come to if you're doing too much volume with effective reps present. You will have to deload at a certain point.
Yep.
You know,
And you will plateau eventually because you accumulated too much systemic fatigue. So he's missing the major component, the main point of HIIT and everything that Mike said. Mike was saying that you have to recover from the work you do before you do more work.
yes.
The end. So when do you grow? It's not during the workout, bro. You know, it's when you're at home, after, while you're resting. And the way you know you had a good workout is when you get in the gym the next time and you progressed. You got another rep out or you got more weight on the implement. And so like he can't wrap his head around the fact that his programming sucks and he's accumulating systemic fatigue on his athletes. He accumulated systemic fatigue on himself. And it's like breaking his brain. He's having cognitive dissonance, fixating on the one aspect, which is training to failure, which we all know is universally absolutely necessary to stimulate muscle growth.
I mean, it's a absolutely flawless way to get effective reps in.
Yeah. And then what he's
Bottom
saying,
line.
yeah, that's the bottom line. And then what he's saying is you're unequivocally going to run into a plateau or into the wall, like they say, and you're going to have to start to make adjustments. And if you're trained to failure, you don't have any play in the variables. So it's like, it's just what you're saying, dude, is not relevant to a properly applied HIIT method because you're not going to plateau because every time you train, you're recovered.
100%.
Okay, Bradley, let's hear
Some shit since I put out the I Hate Westside video. I did take that down for a couple reasons.
Let's go to 128, producer.
You stand out to just put out basically good knowledge. So you need a hook. And the way that these guys get a hook, just like Joel Seedman, and it's just like any
you got to pause.
That you've ever
Sorry. So first, I'm just going to address the hillbilly thing. So this is like this is a prejudice term, right, that he's using against a certain group of people. Okay, it's a culturally prejudiced term. And then he's talking about othering, which is like a social justice warrior type of term, talking about, people creating division. So who are you, bro? Who are you, Bromley? You're talking about people that look like you, bro, and calling them hillbillies. And then you're talking about othering. So that's some scumbag behavior, in my opinion. Okay? And Renee, I'm going to hold our fat friend's feet to the fire. And I'm not going to apologize for it. You understand? So don't come get mad at me, bro. Don't get mad at me when this guy's running his mouth in this way at dudes who he would never say it to their face. This is not acceptable. This is internet behavior. And when you're a man with a code, you don't behave in this way. Do you understand? And so I have no problem saying it because, believe it or not, I'm the kind of person who stands on their shit. When I say something on the internet, I mean it.
Come across, they find some small little bit of truth, or they find some small perspective, some little corner of this bigger field. They take it and they stretch it out, and they try to make an entire platform out of it, and they
Dude,
convince you
what?
that this is
My
really,
bad. Pause
the
again.
secret
I'm
source.
sorry.
We took three variables. We took the three key variables in training, and we meshed them together and logically understand each one of them's place and how to produce the most efficient, time-effective way to train that will guarantee you results. That's what we did. I didn't take one thing and stretch it out. No, I think volume training takes one thing and stretches it out. And that's why there's 500 different fucking programs on Bromley's site.
Yep.
You know?
And Joel Seedman is Joel or Joel Seedman. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Dr. Joel Seedman is the biggest charlatan fool that exists in fitness on the internet. This guy is nonsense. This guy got rich. This guy trains pro athletes and destroys them. He has no business being out there. Joel Seedman, his logic. We will eventually we'll do videos logging Joel Seedman. He sucks. Okay, but I believe it was Mark Asanovich did the. We're gonna do that coming up soon, which was and that's gonna be a long episode because we're gonna have to clip that out or something because it was an hour and a half interview with our friend Jay Vincent. Who or the person that Jay Vincent we appreciate. We don't actually know Jay Vincent, but we're gonna get to know him.
I don't even know of Jay Vincent.
So Jay Vincent's he's a YouTube guy who does talks like us about HIIT basically. So he's on the squad even if he doesn't know we're on the same squad.
What denomination is he?
So what kind of athlete? Like he's like a bodybuilder.
I was making the joke of the Bromley.
Yeah.
And there's 80,000 denominations, you know.
Yeah, silly. My bad. That one went over old Akila's head. But dude, so like, it's like you're trying to say that it's what he's trying to say is that there's a novelty. Like HIIT is a novelty take because Seaman is like a novelty type cat. You know, where like he's gonna like he has guys like standing on one foot, like pulling on a thing and then doing a press with the other hand and stuff like this level of nonsense, right? Playing with stability.
Oh yeah,
and,
like the Obama workout on Ellen DeGeneres, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Just like the real nonsense, you know, like he's doing Bosu stuff and just insanity. So like you can't come to us and then throw us in the same boat as a Joel Seedman as an argument against high intensity training. Like it's straw manning, it's ad hominem, and fundamentally it's an insult. So you're also doing like some character assassination, right? So ad hominem, I guess. But yeah, so
Classics, you know, the trifecta. And my thing here is like he never defines the theory of high intensity training because like if I was going to come at something, I would define whatever it was. I would list its principles and I would systematically walk through them. This does not happen. Happen. He mentions effective reps and then he mentions, training to failure and then says that's not everything. In fact, there's even a better thing. Well, what's that better thing? Doesn't even say that.
That's it. He's proving that he doesn't understand the theory and that he hasn't actually gone through it. He's just mad at the people who are using certain rhetoric around it because it sounds too
authoritarian.
Authoritarian. Yeah, it sounds too like correct in tone. And so when you're actually correct, you can sound as correct as you want. Like he's doing like a tone police. Don't say that like that. I don't like it. You know?
A lot of people said that about Mike. That he's so arrogant. You know, he sounds so sure of himself. Well, of course he sounds sure of himself. He 100% believes everything he's saying. And he's got a damn good reason to believe that.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Make him be wrong. Make us wrong. Make us be wrong. Come tell us why we're wrong. And Bromley thinks he's about to do it, so let's find out if he does. I'll concede. I will concede on stream right now if Bromley gives me an argument and gives me a reason to. I will concede. I will wave the white flag.
I conceded to Renee in our conversation, and it was that, well, not everybody can train high volume. You got to start people off with volume so they can learn how to work out. It's like, okay, I understand that, but that doesn't debunk anything that we do. And it's
but
just
also, do you?
Right. Do you even have to start off a new athlete with that? Because if intensity is a skill set, which we both believe that it is, the way that you build a skill is by performing the task.
Yeah, you teach the skill.
I teach
That's what
the
I do.
skill, right? So
I do it every day.
Thank you. Yes, it's all about, you got to surround yourself with the right people. You want to train true heavy duty style training, find somebody that does it and let them put you through a workout. Let them show you what it is. And we talked about my beginnings in the gym last episode, and how it started for me. When those guys took me under their wing, they forced me to train extremely hard to go to failure. Now, they made me do it too many fucking times, but from the start, I knew how to train hard. And that's what people need to learn how to do. And the only way to do that, to learn that, is to do that. So
we had the same experience. You don't have to
start a person off on high volume.
No, you don't.
The argument of, well, a person isn't capable of failure. Failure is failure, regardless if the mind was the mental block. The fact is that if we force a progression every workout, they are going to dig deeper into themselves every workout. So they will acquire the skill over time. Yeah. Because they have to beat their previous best.
Yeah. And that's what leads to the question of what is failure? Right now, we're going to get into the weeds on that. Right, we did the Niptard episode where we talked about Paul's response to that. Right, so it's like I want to see a deadlift. When I'm looking at my client's deadlift, I want to see the deadlift performed one way. I want the twinning of repetitions. Right, up until they're no longer capable of performing the rep cleanly. Frequently, when somebody's learning to deadlift, right, you are asking them to do something that potentially has some risk attached to it. They're experiencing some fear right out the gate. Their nervous system isn't tuned up to actually go get the output that they truly have, right? And so it takes a few sessions to get them to their actual current full strength. They're learning the skill. So let's say I get a client to 5 reps. And they start to make a fault, right? Their hips start to come up, right? On their deadlift. I'm going to make them stop, step away, reset, see if they can get a couple more clean reps out. If they can match the same form as previously, I'm counting those reps. It's called rest pause. Maybe they get 7. By the time 7 comes again, their hips hike up halfway through 8, stop, mark down 7. That's it. We're done. Next session, we'll do 8. Right? So eventually that person finds their output. They start building the neurological pattern for the movement without overtraining themselves. Fatigue does not factor in on multiple repetitions. Right? But if, let's say you have a guy that you're trying to get him to do deadlifts and you put him at a plate, right? And the guy can pull, like today, based on his strength, he's a 200-pound guy. He can probably pull his body weight, right, for a rep or two. But if you put him on a plate and you make him do 40 reps, are you grooving the pattern, right? Are they 40 identical reps, right? And so then now we're just like, spinning our tires, right? You're doing junk volume now with deadlifts. Is that a good idea? Anybody out there think doing junk volume with deadlifts is a good idea? Because I sure don't.
It's a great way to get a lower back injury, especially on an untrained body. It's a great way to get some sciatica pain, or tweak something.
Yep. Yeah. So,
that was really good, Ben. Yeah, that was perfect.
Thank you. But so coaching quality movement.
What's better is to force. Yeah, exactly. We're teaching quality because that is the ingrained thing in HIIT training, is that we want mirroring of each rep. Each rep is part of a scientific experiment. We have to maintain control on all of our variables. We want all of our reps to be the same, with the same tempo, the same cadence, the same form. It's about precision. It's not about hitting X number of reps for X number of sets. You know, it's about mastering these movements in such a meticulous way and, you know, to connect the mind to the body and to get effective reps in. Train to failure. Because failure is the guarantee of effective reps. Effective reps happen by the time you got to failure.
That's right.
It's
That's right.
efficient way to get them.
Yeah. If I've got a 3-plate bencher, you know, I'm going to start warming them up, right? Maybe you throw 185, but you get to 225. You give them a tempo, right? And then, you know, like a 3-plate bencher, you know, for a rep or 2 reps or 3 reps is not going to be able to get a high intensity top set out at more than 255, 245, 255, something like that. He's going to end up 8 to 12 reps at that weight. And so maybe I'm erring on the light side, you know, but next time he comes in, maybe we load him up. He's at 265, 275, right? Do that 3 times in 30 days? Okay. And retest your 1, 2, or 3 RM and watch if you're still a 3-plate bencher.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the argument about, you know, it not being effective for strength sports, you can't argue that, you know, and that's one of the things Bromley does. You know, look, we took Girth. Remember Girth hired me for a month, wouldn't do the diet because he's like, I'm just a lazy piece of shit. I just wanted the program. You know, so everybody was asking him how it went, you know, after it was 8 or 12 weeks. And he's like, yeah, it was great, man. Great for strength. Got really fucking strong. You know, because he did a lot of unconventional stuff with a lot of volume. And his report going back to the way he trained before was he got a lot stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's just how it goes, bro. You get stronger. And if you're a beginner, what you're doing is you're turning up that. So like, what is muscle tone, right? Tone is like a dial on a stereo, right? So tone is like your brain's ability to put out the signal, right? If you have very highly toned muscles, you can apply force, right? So we're taking that muscle tone and we're turning that dial towards maximum output. You're making the stereo match the amplifier, you know? And so in a beginner, once that starts to happen, they're as strong as they're going to be in that movement. You know, they reach their true natural strength. They've grooved in the pattern, right? As you go in the beginning, and through that process, you gain a significant amount of muscle. That's why it looks amazing for a normie in the first 2 to 6 weeks. They just get results on results on results, and at the end, they're stronger than they've ever been. You know. So, anyways, I digress a little bit. Let's hear more Bromley.
Well, we got a Jim Roberts. Shout out to my boy Billy. Earthquakes for footsteps and an eclipse for a shadow. Titan. That's what's up, brother.
Hey.
Yeah, man. I gotta live up to the image you guys see me as. So,
Jimbo,
cut out for me.
It's lovely to see Jimbo in here, man. God bless you, brother.
Knowledge, life, eternal youth, and this is where you need to be. And people get off on that because it does give them this camp to be a part of. It makes the world seem smaller, more simple, more easy to understand. And it also gives them something to fight against. That's a big component of our modern lives. We live most of us in the first world where everybody eats, most people have shelter. Our lives are somewhat comfortable. So we like to find battles. We don't have struggle in our life. We will invent them. And the people who are the most insecure, I think, are the most.
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
why wouldn't you want to simplify the environment around you? Why are you looking for everything to be so complicated and random that you actually don't understand anything? Nobody wants to live like this. It actually flies in the face of critical thought. What is critical thought? You're trying to distill things down to applicable axioms and heuristics that produce reproducible, consistent results, predictability, right? The world works a certain way, bro. And if your mind can't pull back and observe how that thing plays out, you know, if aliens came down, or if you zoomed out of the world and you watched human beings move around in their behaviors daily, it's entirely predictable. We're like lemmings. We don't have the agency high enough to be random. Our biology and our instincts, our development drives our behavior like to like 90 to 95%. So the people with the highest agency are going to be able to apply their critical thought, observe trends, right? Observe certain variables, develop axioms and heuristics that you can actually apply that produce reproducible, consistent results. If the world was random in the way that Bromley is saying, how would you build a house? How would you build a building, right? How would you fly a plane? There are rules, and the rules are real, Bromley, right? How would doctors do surgery? Oh, no, this guy's heart's different than this guy's heart. I don't know how I could do this today. Look, all these valves on this guy, you know? What are you talking about, Bromley? Okay.
We'll put too many words in Bromley's mouth. You know, we don't want to give our opposition any more ammunition, but I donned my protective head cap so that I don't see the world in such a confusing way. See that? I found that while you were asking what kind of person would. Yeah, so I keep myself safe. Yeah, it's damn it, Bromley.
Well, so I'm sorry. I like a guy who's selling programs on the internet wants you to think that the world doesn't make any sense and that you're not going to figure out how to train properly. So you buy his program. Right?
Yeah, well, you know, he's the gate. It's gatekeeping. Bottom line, it's gatekeeping. I mean, you know, no, the world isn't as small as you think it is. You know, it's where you need the. Oh, damn it! I can't think of my Masonic words. You need the initiated to lead you and guide you. You know,
right.
Whereas you or I just talk about the simple, very, very simple principles of what they are and how to apply them.
Yeah, you don't need us, fam. You
need the theory. Like, you really don't need me to write your program for you. You need to understand the theory, and you can do it yourself.
Yeah, it's cool to train with me, right? If I was standing in the room with you, it'd be cool. Like, you'd like it. I'd teach you all kinds of cool shit.
For sure.
But you don't need me. I've been doing this a long time. I have all kinds of cool things to say about lifting weights when I'm hanging out with the person while they're lifting weights. So it's like, what am I doing? I'm teaching them to lift weights really nicely and cleanly. And I'm giving them something that they could find anywhere on the, like, easily. You can find it out. I didn't make any of this stuff up, bro. I'm not the guru. I'm not the person you need, right? Like, in that sense, right? You don't need to rely on me. You're you, and you go do it. You got it. You know what I mean, fam? Like, you guys have the goods already. You show up, you're good to go. You don't need Bromley and his 500 programs, and you don't need me. You need Daddy Mike.
Have that thing to push against. I think of a lot of like religious parallels because there's like mainstream Jews.
I make those
Christians,
every podcast.
Muslims, but then there's like Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
I make religious parallels every podcast.
Yeah, because there are religious parallels. It, like, I don't, you know, like, so the guy's an atheist. So an atheist thinks that, like, science is the most important, like, you know, science is God, right? Science is this man's religion, right? And so he's a priest of, you know, this sort of way of thinking. Like, you are the thing that you're saying that we are, bro. You understand? Like we're not trying to say, like, we're the gurus, right? That you need to listen to our, like believing in a religion is for everybody. You know, God is for everybody. You know what I mean? If the world doesn't have like reasonable explanations, then you need a Bromley to come hold your hand, right? Because you're scared, you're lost and scared because you don't have the Lord. Anyways.
They're like something else. They're a little off. And then beyond that, you get to like Heaven's Gate, where you got people wearing the white sneakers, drinking the Kool-Aid, waving at the comet, hoping astral Jesus picks them up and takes them to the promised land. So there's a spectrum, but everybody along that spectrum wants to believe that their stuff is just as good or reasonable or grounded as anybody else's, because you need to put that much stock into it, to buy into it to that degree. I can think of like Judaism, where they don't have the Christian mission of just wanting to proselytize everybody. They're elite. They're They're exclusive. Like, you got to work hard. If you've married into a Jewish family and you're expected to convert, you got to put in work. And that's part of the reason why there's kind of this culture of excellence. They're high performers. Where on the other hand, you look at Jehovah's Witnesses to stand out.
Interesting.
No,
Very
bro,
interesting.
really? Did we
Very
really just go
interesting.
down there? Where did that come out of?
Right.
What the fuck?
So
Why
we're
did you
shedding
insert
some light.
that in this
Yeah.
video, bro?
Well, he's
What?
saying we're making religious like arguments. And what did he just
Bro.
go do?
He told me who the chosen ones were.
The elite ones, the hard workers, bro. The people you need to strive to be like, bro. You know what I mean? The
That
gurus who are
work,
going to tell
dog.
you how the world goes, bro.
Putting in that work. Dude, that just happened. I didn't watch this video. I had no idea that was coming.
I knew.
Bro.
I know.
What?
I know.
Like, he made fun of Astral Jesus and then went to the elites. Elites
Yeah.
put in
Yeah.
work. That's why
Yeah.
they're such high performers.
Yeah,
They're
like
actually not, if you want to read up, if you want to actually look at statistics, they're actually not. They're just higher represented.
yeah, like if you're not one of them, you're just a DYEL, right? You know what I mean?
Oh my
If
God.
you're a DYEL of life, right? Like, because they're rocking life in the right way because they're elite and they do work. And if you don't do that type of work and hold yourself to that kind of standard, then you're a DYEL. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, bro.
Just get a
Oh my
rabbi as your coach.
Yeah,
That was
dude.
the comment.
He'll teach you how to work hard, dude. He'll teach you all the other variables you need to know about, except for the important ones, and that's what's gonna get you jacked.
No, it's not about effective reps or intensity.
No, it's about the other stuff, bro. It's about training till you hit a plateau.
And then knowing what you need to do when you hit the plateau.
Yeah, and then you have to consult your spiritual leader, because you're lost. You got no more gains. What do I do? Once a month you got to bring in your training thing to get it signed off on by your rabbi, so you could continue to lift weights. Right? You got to smell your logbook.
They have a very specific method for getting their ranks up, and it involves scraping the bottom of the barrel. And that's how you get parents that won't let their kids celebrate birthdays, but then they're like raging alcoholics. These camps, like the Joel Seedman camp, the high intensity camp, these camps exist because they scrape the bottom of the barrel. And that is evident by the awful commentary in the comments. If I'm going down the list of things that I saw multiple people try to say that effort or failure or effective reps are the only thing that matters. I mean, even you can argue it's the most important thing, or that it's somehow uniquely better or different than any of the other things that trigger growth. But there were people saying it's the only thing that matters. That doesn't even make sense. And ask yourself, if that is the only thing that causes muscle growth, how do people that don't train to failure grow muscle? They hit
effective reps.
There is volume in the form of tonnage, the number of lifts, the number of sets, the rep range you're working in. There's intensity, not just as effort, the way they use it, but in the textbook definition, which is the average load you're using. You can calculate absolute intensity. What's the heaviest weight you got to today? You can calculate average intensity. And all of these things are connected and they play together. And if you take any one of them and prioritize it, you are going to see adaptation specific to that. So
I don't even have to consider any of those other things. I don't even think about all those other things, man. I don't even have to. I don't have to consider any of those things. If I understand what the three foundational principles are, or the three primary components of training are, if I understand them and I identify them and I define them, then I can create a logical way to apply it.
Can we roll that back really quick? I want to hear that list again. Like, what are you even talking about, bro?
Form of tonnage, the number of lifts, the number of sets, the rep range you're working in. There's intensity, not just as effort, the way they use it, but in the textbook definition, which is the average load you're using. You can calculate absolute intensity. What's the heaviest weight you got to today? You can calculate average intensity. And all of these things are connected and they play together. And if you take any one of them and prioritize it, you are going to see adaptation specific to that. So what happens when you take a high intensity trainee who grew and got better, bigger, stronger off this method, but then they plateau? Because plateaus come for
They
everybody.
don't.
It doesn't matter how optimal your training threshold is.
Yes, it
Whether
does.
you're cycling, swimming, or doing HIIT in the gym,
Guy's
eventually the
stressing me
same
out.
stimulus leads to an adaptation. It renders the stress inert. You stop adapting because your body registers it as like just another day at the office. What happens when that's the case? If you say, do another set, is the set as good? Is it
Another
as
day in the
effective?
office?
No, probably
Hold on,
not.
hold
You'll
on
do a
just a
few reps.
second. Another day in the office? Like, have you ever done a max effort set? If we're going to be unscientific, which him saying that my body's going to say it's another day in the office is pretty unscientific. Like, how could my body possibly think that going into a high intensity set, a max effort set, where I've tried to beat my previous, is another day in the office?
And like, since when do swimmers
First
and
off, I'd
runners
only be showing up
do
to
those?
work fucking, 3, maximum 4 times a month. One hell of an office job. Like, what?
What, dude? Like,
Sounds
what?
like I'm the boss and I'm showing up to bust heads or give out rewards.
Yeah. So it's,
like,
this is like rhetorical obfuscation 101. Right? I'm the only guy who can calculate all those things out for you. Right? I'm the one that's going to show you how much tonnage you did and how that resulted in X, or I'm going to show you your average intensity and how that resulted in Y. Right? Like, and so there's going to be one thing that's going to tie any. He's saying base any training program on any one of those variables, and you'll have adaptations linked to that variable. When in reality, any training program you base off any of those variables is going to have one consistent variable, which is effective reps. And if you don't recover workout to workout, you will need to deload. And if you don't recover workout to workout, you'll need to deload. And if you do recover, then you won't hit a plateau because you rested and you allowed for the adaptation to occur. The adaptation is the thing that drives the progression. It doesn't drive you towards like systemic fatigue requiring a deload. If that happens, you didn't adapt, dude. You didn't get stronger. You got stronger arguably in a small window, and then you hit your plateau. And now if you stay on that plateau, eventually you're going to get weaker. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to pull the same weights, right? If you don't recover, if you don't recover probably between 2 deadlift days, are you pulling the same?
and I think the argument that some people are going to make for this is that well, he's talking about for at the highest elite level, that you need to consider all these variables, and you have this very specific, much more complex and detailed training systems and methods for these elites that are at the top 0.1%. And my statement to that is like, okay, hypothetically, if that is the case, either way, we're dealing with the other 99.9% of the population who shouldn't even think about any of that other shit. It's totally irrelevant and erroneous to them. You know what I mean? You got this guy is speaking. There's a bunch of power lifters with 1,000-pound totals staring at their computer, listening to Bromley talk, thinking that, oh yeah, this is it. This is what I need to know right here. It's like, bro, your total's 1,000. Like, fuck, man. You have a 400
What are you talking about, dude? Like,
what are you talking about? You are, you can't see the forest through the trees, bro. You're worried about all the minutia, and you don't even have the foundation set up.
He's trying to obfuscate it. He's trying to hide it, right? He's trying to make people confused. Oh, look at all these trees. Look at all these different trees. There's thousands of trees here.
I didn't even put that together like that.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
look at all these trees. Look at all these trees.
This can't be a forest. There could be no trail through this path. You'll never make it to the other side of this forest. Look at all these trees. It's nonsense, bro. Let's hear him keep going.
Less, you'll have a little more total cumulative fatigue. But in essence, you just doubled your volume. You doubled the number of lifts. You doubled the tonnage. You know what happens when you do that?
Each day, I commit to
What
strive.
does he commit to? I'm curious. What kind of sponsors does he have?
Body
I'm gonna have to
goals.
watch the
That's why volume phases in barbell sports are also called hypertrophy phases, because we observe that across the board. Well, if you're running through something like a Shako template where you're like RIR 4 or 5 on most of the sets, how do these lifters get bigger and stronger? They get bigger and stronger not because the quote unquote effective reps are the only thing that make you bigger and stronger. Even if you're not training to failure, handling greater intensity or doing more total work or working in a different rep range all triggers muscle growth. And how effective it is depends on what you did before that, not on any one of them somehow magically being better than the others. This is the backbone of how training works, of how programming works. It is the basic recognition that the same thing doesn't work over time, and that to perform at the highest level over here, you have to break that into constituent parts, prioritize the order in which you should develop those, set yourself up for success once it's time to do the most specific thing. So you have that directionality, but you also have the novelty, the variety over time that causes growth after you've gotten stagnant. Every single one of these people in the comments doesn't understand this. And this is foundational to literally every single aspect of strength training. Effective reps, training to
Bro.
failure, exhausting a muscle is not the only thing that causes muscle growth. It's not even the most important one. It's actually the one that gives you the least amount of wiggle room to make changes when the training stops getting effective. And I went into the comments trying to be reasonable. I was looking for the person who is going to be the ambassador, the person with the education and the depth of knowledge and the practical experience. I was like, where is the Mike Israetel of HIIT? And I don't think there is, because to be that person, you have to have experience. You have to understand all the perspectives. You have to see the entire puzzle, and you have to be rational and reasonable. And to be a proponent of high intensity, the way that these guys are, you have to have a lot of assumptions, a lot of beliefs that are not grounded in reality. So to be completely crystal clear, this is where I stand on HIIT. I believe the high intensity principles can absolutely work. I believe that they have worked for a lot of people, and I believe that there's trade-offs, like with everything. And for some people, the trade-offs might make sense. The issue I have is the claim that it is the only way to train, and all of these sub-beliefs that make up that belief that are all completely incorrect. The thing about effective reps and training to failure being the only thing that causes muscle growth is flat out false. It's not even worth considering or acknowledging. If you believe that, you just told me in no uncertain terms that you have extremely limited experience in the academic component of strength training, because if this was part of the quote unquote total science, then you would see it in textbooks. It's not in textbooks. You actually see traditional periodization making up most of what's in textbooks, which involves the hypertrophy phases being high volume phases. You've also showed me that you
believe
haven't taken
everything
a
you read in a
census
textbook,
of what the
damn it.
best performance.
That's the truth.
Yeah, because those are the people that we need to trust in society, right? Is the academics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, the academics, the people that fund studies, right? Like, dude, our institutions, the most clear and obvious thing to every person in society right now is that our institutions are fundamentally compromised. Right?
Everyone knows that.
Everybody, if you don't know that, bro, like, I'm sorry for you. I feel bad for you, and like, you're probably gonna pay for Bromley's programs. And so, like, again, it's textbook rhetorical obfuscation, right? HIIT works. Okay, thanks, Bromley. It does work. And so, like, what else works? Few other things work for, if you want to be an Olympic lifter, if you want to be a power lifter, there's other programs that have gotten people stronger. It's true. It's not true.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, you're going for more of a neurological adaptation. You'd be able to work these certain leverages to perform this very specific task. Your goal is a movement. That's your goal at the end of the day. So I will concede that there's probably, there's better forms of training for that, for competing in an event. Specificity, right? But I'm not going to double my volume and grow. If I double my volume, I'm immediately going to become stagnant, and I'm going to regress, and then I'm going to get injured. There was at no point in
Yeah.
my training career that I ever doubled my volume and saw better results.
It flies in the face of the
It
most.
never happened.
Yeah, the most basic principle Mike provides us, and so there, Mike Mentor, I mean, and so there is a Mike Israetel of HIT, and his name is Mike Mentor, and he's passed away. Okay, and so we cannot consult him, and he also is not an exercise physiologist in any institution, right? He got pushed to the edge, to the to the dark corner of the bodybuilding world at the time that he was participating in it, because he wasn't a proponent of periodization or high volume training, as it were. And so the powers that be, the people who also fund these studies, didn't want to hear what Mike had to say. So he found himself with a limited platform. What he was telling us was, if you do one set and you go to failure, right? And then, first of all, if you're able to do the same set a second time, you didn't work hard enough in the first set. Secondly, if you double your volume, right, that's the biggest increase you can possibly make at any time. Any single moment is going from one set to two sets. So all you've done in that sense is eaten into the time it's going to take your body to recover and adapt. You're extending that time period for an inconsequential benefit, right? You already taxed the muscle. You already did the thing you set out to do. So one of the variables is minimum effective dose. What about minimum effective dose, Bromley? Right? So let's ask Mike Israetel what he thinks about that, because I know that that's one of his most important principles. Right? So then we're talking about things like reps in reserve on a Chico template. Why do those guys get bigger and stronger and grow muscle? Well, I'm assuming that Chico templates are going to be applicable for both powerlifters and weightlifters. And those guys have weight classes, right? So if you gain too much muscle, you're out of your weight class. All of a sudden, you're getting beat by guys who are heavier than you at the top of their weight class.
That's such a good point. Into all these sports,
yeah. So they're not
classes.
Those. So he's saying it's observable across the board. But I'd like to see him talk about, like, asking for sauces. Show me a sauce that says that the Chico template produces as much muscle in the same amount of time that HIT produces it, in the same amount of effort and time in the gym, right? It's not true. It doesn't. And so it's like, what are you trying to do? Are you, so guys who powerlift and guys who train Oli lifting, they need some downtime. They need an off season. What's the best thing they could do to get themselves better? Like, when they're not training for their specificity of their sport, it's training HIT. You're going to get more muscle, right? You're going to get stronger with the least amount of tax on your system. So when you go back to your specificity, you're better. You have more motor units recruited and a larger cross-sectional surface area of the muscle, very simply, right? So, like, this guy, like, he, again, it's wild rhetorical obfuscation, right? This is academic rhetoric 101. It's wild to watch him go through this, man, and think and act like he's got a point. Like, what is your point, bro? Unbelievable. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Performers do, whether it's in physique and bodybuilding, whether it's in athletics, whether it's in strength sports, or any field where building size and building strength is important or desirable. You showed that you're willing to take a very small amount of information that was spoon-fed to you and present it like you regurgitating it as somehow the same as being an expert. I'll say it again. If you want long-term improvements in size and strength, you need to have a handle on effort, volume in the form of tonnage, total number of lifts, rep ranges, absolute intensity, average intensity, and training density, which is just the work you do over time. Those are the big ones, and there's actually more than that. If you have a handle on those, that gives you a lot of tools to make changes to keep growing over time. This is how the best coaches in the world train their athletes.
That's not true, and it's an appeal to authority. It's just not true, and it's an appeal to authority. What's the most important job of a coach? Mark Asanovich says it in the Jay Vincent interview. He says their job to coach, if you're coaching NFL players, the most important thing that you can do that correlates to winning on the field is keeping the athletes uninjured.
Yeah, for sure.
The starters need to be on the field. They cannot be getting hurt. So what do you have to do in the weight room to keep them from getting injured? Right? You got to manage their volume and get them ready to perform on Sunday. The end. If you want to get them as big and strong as possible in the off season and not get them hurt, right? Manage their volume. We know that, a lot of the best athletes that exist, they're good athletes, they're good at their sport, and so they're not forced to train hard. They're not the workers. This is Isanovich. I'm paraphrasing him. But the best wide receivers, these guys are crazy athletes. The best, they haven't actually been forced to develop their muscle mass. They're doing Olympic lifting, they're doing cleans, and like in college. So they're in the weight room, they're getting good at those things, but do those things transfer to the field, right? So as soon as they start to train something that resembles HIIT, they don't have the same tax on their system, right? They're actually growing muscle and getting big. You ever seen a guy get in the NFL and get weaker and smaller and then stay in the NFL and be successful and win Super Bowls? This is crazy. What the guy's saying is crazy town, man, that those are the best coaches, the best strength coaches in the world, right? Don't manage their athletes' volume. They don't let them recover in between workouts to keep them from accumulating systemic fatigue. They'd rather calculate total tonnage. And so he starts that whole diatribe out with effort. What is effort, bro? Like, this is a synonym for what we're saying is intensity. He's saying average intensity is intensity, but really it's just effort.
And
right?
How are you going to measure that variable? That's where we come down to, in terms of being scientific about it. We know that we can't measure anything between 0 and 100%. There's 2 units of effort that you can absolutely be 100% sure of. There's 0 when you don't pick up a barbell, and there's 100% when you can no longer perform a rep. So you want to be so technical, and you want to have you got to have your hands on all of these things. And one of the key ones you can't even equate for, truly. I mean, truly, you could say, you can make an estimated guess, but even that is murky. Reps in reserve.
Yeah.
You put a knife to your kid's throat. See how many reps in reserve you got then.
Yeah. Do you want a guy
and
failing?
God, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's something like what can inspire the mind. What could be a drive to make you realize that you had less than or more than 3 reps in the tank. It's.
Yeah, you got to learn that skill. You got to be able to know as the athlete that you actually laid it all out there. And the way that you know is if you pick up the same weight or a heavier weight next time you get in the gym and you do more reps with it, or again, it's heavier and you do the same amount of reps. So you don't want a guy failing, muscular failure, mechanical failure under a barbell performing a snatch.
That would be bad.
You don't want this. If you're a good strength coach, trust me, you do not want this. So the ways of coaching those specific movements, right? They do require consideration of other variables, the variables he's describing. Now the question is, what about the principle of transfer? The principle of transfer, Asanovich says it better than me, but basically does what you just did in the gym help you be better at your sport, right? So do snatches and cleans make a guy who hasn't maxed out his muscle mass? Is that the best thing you could do to get him bigger and stronger and ready for Sunday? It's not. I'll tell you right now, it's not. It's not. It's not the safest thing for his body by any stretch of the imagination. And you can't periodize the Shiko template in the middle of a football season, my dude. You can't, right? You can't do Shmolov, right? You can't do Shmolov or Shmolov Jr. in the middle of a football season. You're going to injure your athletes. You're going to get fired as a coach. So don't lie and say the best coaches in the world do this, bro. They don't. And if obviously, very clearly, if you're coaching weightlifting or powerlifting and you have champions, they're not experiencing muscular failure underneath the barbell in a clean, snatch, clean and jerk, whatever it is. Okay? So what do you get them to do in the off season to make them build muscle? Do you make them so they never stop training? They go Chico templates all the way through? What happens here? Or are they arguably genetically gifted people, right, who perform their specific task very, very well? And if they are, should they not maximize their muscle mass on their frame, their genetic potential, to be able to apply that to their specific environment? You know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy what he's saying, dude. And it's lies. That's the other important thing to understand, is that, you know, you can lie through like obfuscation, right? Look at all the trees. You can't get through that forest. There's no trail properly built, you know, to get through that forest because of all those trees. Dude, please, Bromley.
You know, again, are there other principles? Are there other factors of training? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But are they critical? Are they as critical as these three that we talk about? No. Like, if you can maximize these three, that's all you really need to worry about.
The most important
However,
thing
if you
do,
want to get super specific and task oriented, then, you know, you may have to do all that other shit or worry about it.
Yep. The most important thing you could do for any application, if you want to be better, is recruit as much muscle fiber as you possibly can and increase the cross-sectional surface area of your muscles, so that when you go into the environment and you apply yourself in the environment, you have more force production. Transfer is the most important thing. The end. The end. So now go prove me that all your templates and all your chosen methods within the frames you just provided accomplish that goal. They don't. They don't. So felted, Bromley. I don't want to hear it. You know,
so terrible.
It's brutal. You know, I do. We're going to cut up the Abramovich interview for hopefully maybe next week or something like that. I'm going to rewatch it and you know, put some timestamps for the boys so that they can break it down, so we're not here for 3 hours.
That's the Tampa Bay
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah, the strength coach from Tampa Bay.
Trains his football team twice a week with 2 heavy-duty style workouts, 2 high-intensity training workouts.
Yeah. The starters get 3, or the bench guys get 3, and the starters get 1 or 2.
Oh, that's interesting. So the players he knows are going to be on the field do less volume.
Yeah. Lets them recover. And the other thing he did was he trains them on Mondays.
Further stay away from Sunday.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
So he's not calculating density or tonnage or any of that. So he's not. Well, surely he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. There's a better way he could do it.
He must be an idiot.
Yeah.
You know, he must not like science, you know. And so, you know, he's not the only NFL. He names a big list of strength coaches, very effective strength coaches who use HIIT as their method. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's some guys out there. Huh?
Oh yeah. And so college is where you don't see it as much.
Man, my general consensus is that most high school athletics, strength and conditioning coaches, and even coaches at the collegiate level have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
They really fucking don't, bro.
Guys that come to me and they tell me what they were doing, and I was like, buddy, how does that make sense to you? Like,
it doesn't make sense to any of the athletes.
I just do what he says. It's like, it doesn't make sense to me either, man.
Yeah, they have to. They don't have a choice, bro. And
right,
a lot
or
of
you get kicked off the team.
Yeah. And so like a lot of the good athletes, they get let off the hook. They don't have to do a lot of the extra work and stuff like that. Just like in the NFL, the starters don't do as much work, right? So the hard workers, like the real serious heart guys that don't have all of the talent, you know, those guys end up like really, you know, having some issues, or you know, if they do extra stuff, they're arguably limiting their development. You're limiting the development of an athlete if you can't get as much muscle on him as possible in the safest possible way. Very simply. So anyways, he goes on and on, Asanovich. It's really a great, really great interview. So we'll show that. We'll break it down a little bit because it's very validating. And it's very validating. It was very validating for me as a trainer and a coach that I've been doing this for a lot of years. And a lot of the choices that I made were very, very set. And the direction that I've taken everything is very similar. Like I learned the same lessons that he learned over my career, bringing me to this method.
Yeah, it's a really good validation, a confirmation of the path you've chosen and the conclusions you've reached. That you see someone else has reached them in the exact same manner. It's
yeah, very much so. He used to have injuries. He used to have his athletes have injuries because he was training them with too much volume.
I used to have them too.
Yeah, yeah, and I did as well. Yeah. And then
dinged up and in pain.
Yeah. Your body's not happy when you're not resting. Basically, when you put that much stress and strain on it and you don't rest. And even the guys that actually, like we're saying, that train the volume and they actually know how to train and train hard, those are the guys that suffer the most.
That's what That's what I talked about earlier. Is that all the guys that come to me and start doing HIIT after training higher volume, they experience such great results because they actually know how to train hard. Yep. So what was the key component in that? Was it all this other stuff that Bromley has to have his hands on, or was it the effort that was produced? Because if you're going to train with higher effort, you're not going to be able to sustain very high levels of volume. And if you're going to grow from very high levels of volume, then what's missing? Well, it's the effort in each one of those sets. So in the end, effective reps got done. And I think that's the moral of the whole fucking story. And you can twist it and convolute it and say whatever you want to by the end of it. How are guys growing on 4 RIR sets? Huh? How are they doing that? Well, it's because they did 100 of them. And at some point, they became effective.
Yep.
I mean, they got stronger doing this with this program. And, okay, well, you got a weight class, right? So you technically can't really gain much muscle at all, and that's not your goal. So perhaps it's that you groove this movement pattern so many times and you became more efficient at doing this task. And that's what made you stronger. Yeah,
you progressively loaded it through the program.
Yeah.
Right.
Or just simply that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was progressively loaded through the program.
You forced some amount of stimulus in there, right? But so what happened when you progressively loaded it? You created an opportunity to perform effective reps. So I think we've beaten this dead horse. And so you guys are going to see over the next few episodes. We might hit on Bromley a couple more times. He's got some more nonsense posted on his channel.
The video series.
Yeah, and we're gonna hit up the Asanovich interview, but some other things we're gonna do is
accumulating tonnage, a euphemism for banging fatties.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I may or may not have accumulated a little tonnage in my ears. You know what I mean? What? Like, sometimes
growth.
Yeah, sometimes if you're a good wingman, you gotta accumulate some tonnage for the boys. You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta go out and put it in for the team. But like, it's just how it has to be sometimes. So if that's what's getting you gains, buddy, if that's what's getting the team winning, getting dubs on Sundays, hey man, accumulate that tonnage, boys. You can't be a hero if you never slay a few dragons, Billy. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're gonna have this interview we're supposed to have tonight. Our homie's gonna come back and chit chat with us about his recent experience. Hopefully we get Renee on so Renee can express his feelings to me and indict my character and stuff. That'd be okay.
Well, he's gonna tell us how Bromley is right.
Yeah, Bromley's right. We'll have to concede because I'm sure he'll make salient arguments towards that. And, maybe we're not scientists. We're not good scientists. I think that's maybe the other thing. So, We're looking forward to having in the next couple of weeks, maybe our friend Ant Bales. Is that possible?
It's possible from what he
That
last
could
said
be
to
a
me.
thing.
You know, kind of mentioned that maybe we got our viewers up, we got some renown, we can have a real heavy duty hardcore bodybuilder join us on the show. And he says to me, "Hey man, everybody starts somewhere. I'd love
Yeah.
to do it." So
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to reach back out to me, but that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyways, we're just throwing that out to get everybody excited. We don't mean to call you out, and if you can't come, it's okay, buddy. We'll get our numbers up, and you can come on through another time. But our good friend Weck may be out soon, and we're gonna have a debate for you guys that's coming up really, really soon. It might be off of the
time
normal
slot,
time slot. So we might end up being Sunday mornings. Maybe we record it and put it out just kind of separately so you guys can just watch it. It might not be live. But we're going to see how that plays out. But that's coming up, you guys. It just happened to fall through based on schedules over the last week or 10 days. So all kinds of cool, super fun stuff coming up. Family, we appreciate you being here. Billy, you got anything to say on the way out, big guy?
Nah, man. You guys take care of yourselves, and when you do that, you take care of your family, and you take care of the people you love around you. Don't waste your time when you go to train. Train fucking hard. Be efficient in everything that you do. Whatever it is that you set your hand to do, do it as unto the Lord, not unto men, like Bromley.
Ooh. Profound. Amen, brother. What you made me think of a nice quote. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So put it on the line, boys. If you're trying to gain skills and you're trying to be a better man out there, put it on the line. Take those risks and reap the rewards.
And don't be neurotic.
No, don't be.
And try to have your hands on all this stuff, so you can be in control.
You're just a nerd. You're going to stress yourself out, and that's going to keep you from having gains more than anything else. And we might find you and A-log you here on the IconoCast because we don't play. All right. All right, family. We'll see you guys next week. One love, or whatever they say, whatever the kids are saying now. You made me think of my good friend John. I was about to do a John Fashcroft outro, but I can't rip off on old Johnny.
Who's that?
John Fashcroft. You don't know who John Fashcroft is. You're not one of those people.
Like fashion?
yeah. John Fashcroft's a fashion guru. He actually does my wardrobe.
Oh, Croft is like some kind of like a Latin word for craft. He's like he makes fashion stuff. That's interesting.
All right, fam. We love you.
In order to train as hard as possible, you must retain a clear image of your purpose. Once your goal is sharply but realistically defined, all that remains is carrying out your plan. Don't, however, worry about your individual potential. Potential is only the expression of a possibility, something that can be assessed accurately only in retrospect. In other words, you'll never know how good you might have become unless you try. So let's get with it.